I've decided to give the fancy car you bought to my parents. Mom and Dad are really happy about it. Can you believe it? But hold on, did you buy the car just to give it to them? Yep, that's the plan. Doesn't matter what you say now, the car's already bought. If you go against me, I'll divorce you. What? Divorce? In that moment, something inside me broke. Who's saying these things? Alright, I'll do it. My name's Rose. I'm 37 and work in an office. I live with my husband Jack and our daughter Lily, who just turned 7. Both Jack and I work, so money isn't a problem for us. Lily's growing up nicely. I'm happy in my own way, but I do have some issues with Jack. He's the type who puts his parents before his own family. It's nice that he cares about them, but sometimes he prioritizes them and our daughter over me. It's not pleasant. Even when I was in labor, I called Jack at work to tell him I needed him at the hospital because our baby was on the way. I'm sorry that my mom burned her finger. I have to go to my parents' house, he said. I couldn't believe it. How could he be more worried about his mother's minor burn than his wife giving birth? His mom had just touched a hot pan and got a small burn, but she was fine after cooling it down with water. I couldn't believe she called him for something so small, and I couldn't believe Jack rushed to her side instead of being with me during such an important moment. Jack is usually hardworking and kind to me, but his behavior towards his parents bothers me a lot. Another time, on our daughter's first birthday, his parents were visiting. They asked him to drive them somewhere, so he left without even celebrating our daughter's special day with us. He stayed at the hotel with his parents because they needed an extra room. It was shocking to me that he would prioritize a trip with his parents over being there for our daughter's first birthday. I felt really let down by Jack after that. This kind of thing happened a lot, but I couldn't just divorce him right away. I still love Jack, and I didn't want to take her father away from my daughter so easily. It's not like he doesn't care about her. He does care, so I hoped he would eventually put our daughter first. But since she was born until now, he's never celebrated her birthday with us. She's 7 now. He seems to think her birthday should be just for us. I try not to let her feel lonely. Once, I thought about inviting my in-laws to celebrate her birthday with us, but they said it would be too much trouble to come over. It's true it's a 2-hour drive from their place to ours, but Jack never minds the distance when he goes to see them. It feels selfish to say it's too much trouble to come here. My mother-in-law is so selfish. She openly admits she wanted me to have a boy, not our daughter. I told you I wanted a boy. Why didn't you listen? She says. I couldn't believe she'd say something like that. You can't choose the gender of your child, and I don't think it really matters if it's a boy or a girl. It's not like Jack's family is some famous lineage. It's just my mother-in-law's old-fashioned thinking. One reason Jack doesn't celebrate our daughter's birthday with us is because he's trying to please his mother. He's more concerned about his parents than anything else. He just can't seem to disobey his mother. When Jack took me to their New Year's family gathering, she said a lot of hurtful things to me. My mother-in-law seems to enjoy making me feel small. She criticizes me about not having a boy, but also about other things. She treats me like a servant, making fun of me in front of everyone. She even downplays my job, saying it's just data entry when it's actually engineering. I've tried to explain it to her, but she never listens. Plus, data entry is a respectable job too. I don't know why she looks down on it. I'm sure she can see our daughter, but she ignores her. She gives gifts to other relatives' kids during New Year's, but not to our daughter. And it makes me furious that Jack doesn't stop her. His daughter is being mistreated, and I feel like a fool being mistreated too. I don't get why he laughs at his mother's remarks. He even says, "My wife isn't much without me," trying to look good in front of everyone. I didn't want to take her father away from our daughter, so I tried to be patient, but my love for Jack started fading away. Then one day, Jack asked me for a favor. "I want to buy something," he said. "What is it?" I asked. "A car," he replied. I was shocked. Jack never cared much about cars or anything like that. "Why all of a sudden?" I asked. "I just thought it'd be nice to have something new, you know. I drive to my parents' house a lot, so I thought it'd be good to freshen things up. But we live near a supermarket. I don't drive much. I'm not into cars, so I thought you should decide. You'll be the main one using it anyway." Jack looked pleased and then added with a hint of apology, "Oh, one more thing. I'll choose the car and I'll let you pay for it." Jack wants a car for himself, but he can't afford to buy one on his own. He wants me to pay for it. Actually, my salary is what supports our family financially, and I don't expect Jack's salary to cover our expenses. When I was on maternity leave, Jack didn't contribute his salary to our household, so I went back to work right after giving birth. Luckily, I'm an engineer, so I arranged with my company to let me work from home. I work while taking care of our daughter. When she was little, I felt it was selfish of Jack to spend his leftover money on himself and then ask me to pay for a new car. But when he's in a good mood, he often helps out with our daughter, so I decided to go along with it. Okay, are you sure? I asked. Thank you, Jack replied happily, already looking at car catalogs and browsing the internet. We don't need a big car since it's just the three of us, I said. Yeah, I know, Jack mumbled in agreement. I wasn't sure if he was really listening as he headed to the car dealership. He chatted with the dealer from time to time. About 2 weeks later, Jack said he was ready to buy the car and took me to the dealership. He was so excited about it. I sat down and waited for Jack to tell me what to do. Suddenly, the dealer brought over a contract and showed us the car, a large luxury minivan. Oh my God, are we really buying this? I asked, surprised. Yeah, it's nice. I'm really excited, Jack replied enthusiastically. Wait a minute, I don't think we need such a big car. Maybe it's better to get something sleeker for the future, especially if we plan on having another baby, I suggested. But Jack insisted it was a good choice, which caught me off guard. Even if we do have another child, this car is too big for a family of 4. Are we really going to buy it? I asked repeatedly, feeling frustrated. Jack seemed annoyed. Why do you keep saying the same thing? You're making the dealer uncomfortable. You're the one who said, "Leave it to me," he argued. I did, but I didn't expect this, I replied. It's settled, Jack said, signing the contract. Then the dealer told us the price, which shocked me. I can't pay this all at once. We need to get a loan or something, I said. Fine, I guess I don't have a choice, Jack conceded. Jack insisted on signing the contract in his name, so we have to take out a loan. From then on, I would deposit the money into Jack's account and handle the payments for the car loan. That's how we ended up buying the car. When it arrived at our house, Jack was thrilled. Wow, it's so cool, he exclaimed. I thought, if it makes him happy, why not? But then something unexpected happened. One weekend, Jack had the car keys, so I asked him if he was going somewhere. Oh, we're going to my mom and dad's, he said casually. Okay, I replied. He was leaving our daughter behind again to visit his parents. Are you taking the car? I asked, and to my surprise, Jack happily said, Yes, I've decided to give the luxury car you bought to my parents as a gift. What? Mom and Dad are happy with it, I protested. Well, I'll drive you in it every time we go out, he reassured me. Wait a minute, you bought it as a gift for your parents in the first place? I asked incredulously. Yes, that's right, Jack confirmed. You're joking, right? You said you wanted it, so I agreed to buy it. If I knew from the start it was for your parents, I never would have agreed, I argued. Too late now. It's in my name, and I can do what I want. If you disobey me, I'll divorce you, Jack threatened. Divorce. At that moment, something inside me that had been holding me back collapsed. I had my issues with Jack, but I always held back from considering divorce because of our daughter. Even though Jack always prioritized his parents over us, I believed he still cared about his own family, me, and our daughter. But now, he was ready to cut us out of his life just to please his parents. How could he do that? Divorce? Who does he think he is? Fine, let's get a divorce, I said, my anger boiling over. What? I don't want you around anymore. Go back to your mother and father, mama's boy. I taunted him, hoping to provoke a reaction. Just as I expected, Jack's face turned red with anger. You're mocking me, are you? Fine then. Let's get a divorce right now. I'll go get the papers, he snapped, storming off to the city office. While he was gone, I started packing my things. I called my parents, explained the situation, and asked them to come pick me up. I told my daughter to pack her belongings too. Shortly after, Jack returned with the divorce papers. I've got them signed quickly, he said, handing them to me. His handwriting on the forms was so dark and angry. It looked like he had written them in a fit of rage. Without hesitation, I signed my part of the papers. Well, I'll file it, so why don't you just go? I said, feeling a mix of relief and sadness. I'm leaving even if you don't tell me to. You've been a terrible wife, Jack spat out, his footsteps echoing loudly as he stormed out. Why did I endure being married to someone like him for so long? If I had to do it over, I should have left him sooner, but there's no point in regretting today. I'm thankful that I finally have the courage to leave, and from now on, I'll do my best as a single mother. A few minutes after Jack left, my parents arrived. Together, we finished packing our things. Loading them into my parents' car, we headed home. In the meantime, I filed the divorce papers and my divorce from Jack was finalized. It was just a piece of paper, but as I submitted the papers and realized we were no longer officially married, I suddenly felt much lighter. Then I resolved to find a new place for my daughter and me to live together. About a week after Jack and I divorced, I went to my parents' house with our daughter. To my surprise, I found my ex-husband and his parents there. My mother quickly took our daughter to another room, sensing tension. Jack seemed agitated and started bombarding me with questions about the car insurance. "What's wrong with you? Why are you coming into our house like this?" I responded coldly, while his parents raised their voices in defense. My father, quietly angry, told them to leave. When they hesitated, he threatened to call the police. Frightened, my ex-in-laws fell silent. "Hey Rose, what's the deal with the insurance payments?" Jack persisted. I sighed. "Didn't you insist on putting everything in your name when you signed the contract? You bought the car and took out the loan, so you're responsible for the insurance too." My words shocked his parents. Jack had taken out the loan out of pride, insisting on owning everything himself. "Well, I never wanted that car in the first place. It's his problem now," his mother muttered. Suddenly, I realized why they were so frantic about insurance. Apparently, they had crashed the car into a guardrail while driving too fast. I hadn't noticed the damage when I arrived, but now it was clear. Since they didn't have insurance, they would have to foot the entire repair bill, including the guardrail damage. Repairing a luxury car would be costly, and I couldn't help but wonder how much it would set them back. In the end, my ex-husband and his parents returned the car and had to pay a hefty sum for the repairs. Afterwards, Jack bombarded me with emails begging to get back together. He even confessed they couldn't afford rent and utilities, so he moved back in with his parents. However, their relationship soured, especially since Jack was the one driving the car during the accident. Now he's stuck between his parents' harsh treatment and his own debts, unable to live independently. Despite all this, Jack still insists on seeing our daughter, but I refuse to allow it. It's too selfish of him. I ignore his emails and keep our new living situation a secret. My only concern was whether our daughter would miss him, but to my surprise, she seems perfectly content and happy in her new life. I'll continue to work hard to protect our daughter. Putting your parents before your own child and making your wife pay for everything while gifting the car to your parents, that's just unacceptable. Jack brought this upon himself, and he deserves it. I hope Rose and her daughter find happiness together.